Hey there, folks. It's the E-Man here, and today I wanted to talk about a N64 game that I think I've noticed a lot of YouTubers have not really talked about, and it's Mischief Makers. I don't know if many of you have heard about it. It was just some kind of random like N64 game I think I rented, back in the day. Yeah, this game was originally released. A brief thing about it was originally released, yes, in Japan in 1997. Yeah, because originally this game was only going to be in Japan. We weren't supposed to really get this game. Of course, in Japan, it was published by Enix. In Japan, and then over here it was published by Nintendo. Another interesting thing about this game is it was made by Treasure, and of course you may not know, but a lot of the founders of Treasure actually came from Konami, and a lot of them worked specifically on like Castlevania and a lot of the Contra on the original NES. Some of their usual stuff that they did for the Sega Genesis, they did worked on Gunstar Heroes and Dynamite Headdy, so they have quite a repertoire here. Yeah, so they have quite a resume of great games that they've made. Yeah, it was the first 2D side-scrolling game on the N64. Yeah, this was kind of a very interesting game, and what I've heard is that a lot of the developers thought that the 64 would be the best kind of platform for this. Yeah, basically they stated that they figured that the cartridges actually loaded data instantly, and they thought it would be the best platform for this kind of game. And of course, as we think, Sympathy of the Night came out, and that was a 2D game, and so this is kind of like a 2.5D game, but I mean it works pretty much like that. It's I think it's a very interesting thing because remember, around this time, everybody was kind of jumping on, everything be super 3D and just forget about 2D and everything. Another interesting thing in this game is that you had to use the D-pad. Can't use the analog stick on the N64 controller. It was on the D-pad, which was a little interesting, especially in the era of this. But I think this is a very interesting game, and we're technically not even really supposed to get it, and some decided to bring it over here at the last minute. Yeah, of course we know Inks. They were a major RPG player at the time, and them and Treasure worked pretty well on this. Now, originally, this game was actually developed back in '95. So yeah, of course, now that if we think about it, like things like the PlayStation or the PlayStation, but wasn't the Super Nintendo kind of dying off slowly here? Yeah, so I mean, this game was in development long before anyone even knew what the N64 was capable of. So basically, you take on the role of Marina, the robotic maid, and she has to rescue her creator, the professor, from the emperor of the planet Clancer, which is supposedly this planet. Basically, the gameplay kind of revolves around grabbing, shaking, throwing objects. And it's got 5 worlds, 52 levels. Game is played in 2.5D. And I believe in Japan it's called yuke-yuke troublemakers. Okay, now let's... Of course, originally when this game came out, a lot of, there wasn't a very good reception for this kind of game, which I don't think well, of course, remember, everyone was saying, 3D, everything needs to be 3D, we don't need no 2.5D or whatever. But of course, we know better. In this era, a lot of indie games that have recently been made, they have like a 2.5D kind of thing. I mean, people still love to play these kind of games. Well, anyway, I guess that's enough me talking about it. Let's fire it up and see how its gameplay will, kind of hold up today here. Alright, here we go. Mischief Makers. Supposedly the professor was waiting at the spaceship for her, and then got captured by the Lancer dudes. Yeah, she's also known as the Marina, the Ultra Intergalactic G-Bot G. So you see we get like basic jump, thruster,
shake, shake.
You could shake the character, shake, 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 and get like jewels out of them and stuff. Throw dudes and stuff. It is, you can obviously see this game was very largely influenced by, incredibly influenced by Japanese style. Which, of course I'm playing this on an emulator. So that's probably why it looks so good, but it does even remind me a little bit of more of Mega Man or something. The top button is weird. The top button's like one of the triggers on the controller, like left or right to do stuff. So it's kind of like Lego blocks or something. trying to hit the jump button. Kaboom! They're showing kaboom! These stars are what will warp you to different levels and stuff. Yeah, they do show a lot of pictures of like other things here. Well, in this particular one, you have to go find this cancer woman's like children, I guess.
Yeah! Shake, shake. Ow!
Very rambunctious children, I had to say. Amazing. Yeah, I didn't do particularly well on this one. Kind of rates you on how you do in this game. I have to forget how crazy this is. Yeah. Some juvenile humor. Ouch! Well. Guess you gotta look out for palms and spikes still. Yeah, most boss fights will be either you grab or shake or whatnot to take them down. It's a little more. It's a rather interesting way of fighting enemies. It almost reminds me a little bit of Rise Star or one of those games. Yeah. Well, as you can see, yeah, Mischief Makers is a rather interesting game for the N64. It when I'm playing it, it almost feels like, like wow, I mean, this game feels like it was made recently. The way it looks, I almost kind of forget that this is like an N64 game. I know that I'm using an emulator and the video quality is, well, probably a little bit better, but it's an interesting looking game. It's a game not many people really talk about, and it's kind of a shame. It's an interesting game that was like many games that a lot of times we were supposed to get and we didn't, and just Japan got it. This was a game where I guess someone decided that they wanted to make a North American and a PAL version of this. This is one of those interesting things, tidbits in history. Yeah. Well, what's funny is this game holds up good today because it didn't use all the 3D stuff that we're used to in a lot of these games made back in the day. I think overall this is a very good game, and I think the best way would be to play it on an emulator to see if you like it. My opinion is I pretty much do like this game. I don't know if it would be worth like going out of your way to buy an N64, but this is definitely a game that you would definitely want to have in your collection if you're a fan of these particular games. It does seem like to be a relatively fun game. It does get a lot harder, and the bosses are quite impressive in this game. Yeah. So all in all, I think this game is definitely worth someone's time if you particularly like 2D platformers or just like to play a game that's like part of the history of Treasure, an interesting company, which has definitely made very interesting games. Anywho, this will be I guess that then this episode of the E-Man Show, I guess is I guess needs to come to a close. Yeah. And as always, please like or subscribe to my channel, and hopefully I'll be doing some more videos here and there. I'm going to be trying to do like videos that focus on like maybe more RPGs, or maybe focus on more games that are kind of rare that many people don't really talk about. Okay. So yeah. So I'll catch you guys later on the next E-Man show. This is E-Man signing off. See ya.